Expecting silence is unrealistic, and that expectation creates frustration. You think something is wrong, but nothing is wrong. The mind is doing what it's designed to do, generate thoughts. Freedom is not in control. Freedom is in detachment. When you stop identifying with thoughts, they lose power. They become background noise, something that exists but doesn't control you. You no longer chase them, and you no longer run from them. They come and go, and you remain steady. Not all thoughts feel the same. Some feel urgent, some feel important. They demand attention. They create pressure. That urgency tricks you. It makes the thought feel real. But urgency is not truth. It's just a sensation. The mind is very good at creating illusions. It can simulate reality. It can make a simple thought feel like a serious problem. And when you react, you strengthen the illusion. You train your brain to believe it next time. This is how anxiety loops are created, not just by thoughts, but by your response. The thought appears. Your body reacts. That reaction feels uncomfortable, so you try to fix it. But in trying to fix it, you send a message. This thought is dangerous. Next time, the brain reacts faster, stronger, slowly. A harmless thought becomes a trigger, a repeating pattern. But the moment you stop reacting, the pattern begins to break. Not instantly, but gradually, because the brain learns through repetition, and you've been repeating the same response. Now you introduce something new, observation without reaction, awareness without judgment. At first, it feels strange, unnatural. Your mind will resist. It will pull you back. It will say, this isn't working. You need to do something. But doing nothing is a practice. That is a skill. Because in doing nothing, you break the pattern. You interrupt the automatic cycle. You create space. And in that space, something new appears, clarity. You begin to see thoughts as events, not commands. As signals, not truths. Slowly, the intensity fades. The noise becomes quieter. Not because the mind stopped, but because you stop feeding it. You stop adding meaning. You stop building stories. You stop turning thoughts into identity. When that happens, something shifts inside you. You feel lighter, more calm, not because life changed, but because your relationship with your thoughts changed. You are no longer at war with yourself. Your focus improves. Your emotions stabilize. You become less reactive, more grounded. Over time, this becomes natural, not forced, not controlled, but effortless. Control was never about stopping thoughts. It was about not being controlled by them. So next time a thought appears, don't fight it. Don't believe it. Just watch it. The moment you stop reacting is the moment you take your power back. Fire. There's a thought that visits you. Maybe it says you're not enough. Maybe it says you're going to fail. Maybe it comes as doubt. Maybe it comes as fear, quietly shaping how you see yourself. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, but somehow it feels even more real. And every time it appears, you react almost automatically. You try to push it away. You argue with it like it's something you could defeat. You tell yourself to stay positive. You try to replace it with better thoughts. You distract yourself. You scroll, you work. You keep yourself busy. Anything to escape it. Anything to not feel it. But somehow, it keeps coming back. Not weaker, but stronger. It becomes louder, more convincing, more personal. It starts to feel like truth, like something you should listen to. And slowly, without realizing it, you start believing it. What if the problem isn't the thought? What if the problem is the way you fight it? Most people never question this. They assume control means elimination. They believe if they try hard enough, they can silence their mind completely. That one day, there will be no negative thoughts, just peace. But that belief is exactly what traps them. It creates an impossible goal. The more you try to control your thoughts, the more they control you. The harder you fight, the deeper you sink. The more you resist, the stronger they get. You think you're fixing the problem, but you're actually feeding it. Every time you resist a thought, you give it attention, and attention is fuel. The mind doesn't care if the attention is positive or negative. It only cares that you're engaging. Imagine trying not to think about something. The moment you try, it becomes impossible. You tell yourself, don't think about it. Suddenly, it's all you can think about. This is how the mind works. Suppression doesn't remove thoughts. It amplifies them. You're not weak because you can't control your thoughts. You're stuck because you're using the wrong approach. For a long time, people have observed this pattern. They notice something most people ignore. You cannot win a fight against your own mind. You are both sides of the fight. Every battle becomes a loop. You attack, it reacts, and both grow stronger. This is why your thoughts feel overwhelming. Not because they're powerful, but because you engage with them. You treat them like they matter. You respond as if each thought deserves your attention. Most thoughts are just noise, random, automatic, and meaningless. Your brain generates thoughts constantly. You don't choose them. They simply appear, yet you treat them as truth. You believe them without questioning. This is where the real problem begins. Not in the thought, but in your attachment to it. A thought appears. Then you believe it. Once you believe it, you start thinking about it again and again. Then you build a story around it. A narrative that feels real. That story turns into emotion. And that emotion affects your body. Your chest tightens. Your breathing changes. Now it doesn't feel like a thought anymore. It feels like reality. Now you're no longer observing the thought. You're inside it. This is the hidden mechanism. The process most people never see. Thought leads to belief. Belief leads to rumination. Rumination leads to identity. And identity shapes your reality. You don't just think something. You become someone who believes it. And that belief starts shaping your actions and decisions. Slowly, it begins to shape your life without you noticing. But here's the shift. The point where everything changes. You are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them. You are the awareness behind them, the space in which they appear. Your mind is like the sky. Thoughts are passing weather. Storms come and go, but the sky remains untouched. Waves rise and fall in the ocean. The depth beneath remains still. When you forget this, every storm feels like everything. But when you remember it, the storm loses its power. You stop trying to control thoughts and start understanding them. Instead of fighting, you observe. Instead of reacting, you notice. A thought appears. And instead of engaging, you say, thinking. No judgment, no resistance, just awareness. Just noticing what is happening. Then you return your focus gently, maybe to your breath, maybe to your body. And then it happens again. Another thought appears. And again, you observe it, label it, and let it pass. This is not about stopping thoughts. It's about changing your relationship with them. Because your mind will never stop producing thoughts. That's its job.